preciso robar tu beso, que es el pacto de amor que hoy da comienzo. Quiero decirte que te amo desde aquel día que tu mirada chocó. Back, I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Hacking stupid, what's happening? Edge up all I'm showing. I keep my thing about the money, then you know I'm gonna, yeah. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening? What's up? I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, that's old. Any way too exclusive. I don't shop on it's fake. Bad bill. Like if I had him, that's him. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening? I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Hacking stupid, what's happening? What's happening? And recorded, but your edge up all I'm showing. I'm a savage. Okay, so y'all learn these dances in no time, but you want to talk about my assignments being hard? Oh my gosh, this took forever. All right, so the next part of our assignment is called sentence comprehension. So in the last video, I was talking about how in order to understand a passage as a whole, you got to first understand the paragraphs. And in order to understand the paragraphs, you got to understand the sentences. And in order to understand, the sentences, you got to understand the words. So the last assignment we went through and we picked out words that are important, words that are confusing, or words that you didn't understand the meaning of to help us understand that paragraph. Okay? So now we're going to look at sentence comprehension. So once you understand all of the words, now we can go back and read that paragraph and understand each sentence of the paragraph, okay? All right, so it says click here for the passage if you need it. Now, it's the same passage that you just had. So if you already have it up from the last assignment, then you need to just use that same one, okay? Directions. Choose one sentence from the paragraph one only of the reading. So we're working with one sentence only. You're going to draw a picture that shows what the sentence says. So you got to have a very literal, very creative, very detailed picture so that it shows exactly what the sentence says. Now you need to draw big and be creative. And yes, if you have color pencils, crayons, markers, please color it, okay? Now be neat because you're going to have to show this when we have our video class, okay? Now let's quickly look at paragraph one. Remember, we're working with understanding each sentence of the paragraph, so you could choose one to draw. Many Asians served in the armies of the colonial powers during World War II. Now remember, we just learned that colonial powers are the wealthy countries that owned other countries. So many people from Asia served in the armies of the people who owned them during World War II. That's what sentence number one is saying. If you want, you can choose to draw that picture. The fight for freedom from Nazi tyranny deepened their desire for independence from colonial control. Now, we just learned that Nazi tyranny is the Nazi government that was in control during World War II. And they were not a good type of government. So when Asians fought in World War II against Germany and Hitler, this deepened their desire for independence from Britain. If you want to draw that sentence, you can. Also, the Japanese victories over European powers made Asian nationalists realize that the colonial rulers could be defeated. So this sentence is telling us that the Japanese won some battles over European powers. This made the people who had extreme pride in Asian nations, that's what Asian nationalists are, this made them realize that these colonial rulers, wait, you couldn't see my quotes, colonial rulers could be defeated. So up until this time, everybody was like, nobody can defeat, not the Japanese, not anybody in Asia. We can't defeat the European powers. But then when Japan did it, and when they fought in World War II with the European powers, they was like, man, we got this. Last sentence. At the same time, people in Europe began to wonder if it was right for one nation to have another as a colony. So while all of this was going on, while the Asians were fighting with colonial powers during World War II, while they were defeating Hitler, this made their independence grow, or their desire to grow, sorry. Then, while Japanese were defeating European powers and realizing that it was possible for them to be defeated, Europe was saying, oh my gosh, do we have the right to even own colonies? And then they ignored it and kept on owning them. But anyway, all right, so choose one of those sentences to draw. Sorry, I was so drawn out. I need somebody to talk to. I'm here all alone. Help me.